What's up, family? Man, what's up, what's up, what's up? Man, I know I wasn't going to do a live today, but something I want to talk to you guys about. I'm waiting for a couple of you guys to come on in and we'll go ahead and get started. What's up, what's up? The breeze is starting to pick up a little bit out here, but it's beautiful out. It's supposed to rain a little later on today, but just out here listening to the birds. It's like all this noise wants to start now that I'm getting ready to go live, you know what I mean? But we're gonna go ahead and get started, family. We're gonna go ahead and get started, man. Hopefully you guys can hear the birds behind me, and just all around me. They're like all over the place. Just, man, they're singing and just really going in this morning. I love that sound. I'll talk to you guys about something today, man. It's kind of deep. Stay with me. I'm talking about a couple different things, but it's all going to pertain to pretty much the same thing. You know what I mean? We talk about love. What's up, Supernova? Hey, I'm not going to call you guys names today, all right? I'm just going to go ahead and get in, all right? Talking about love, all right? I get asked this a lot. How do you know it's right? How do you know this is the one for you? You know what I mean? How do you know that this is your soulmate? How do you know if this is, the right person for you? You know what I mean? How do you know if this is the love of your life? Family, if it's the love of your life to you, then you should be the love of their life to them. I'm saying this again. And it's going to be hard for some of you to accept. It's hard for some of you to embrace. You know what I mean? If this person feels like it's the love of if you feel this person is the love of your life, then they should feel like you're the love of their life. You know what I mean? You should never go into a relationship feeling like, man, I'm all in and everybody else don't feel the same way. You know what I mean? You should never go into a relationship feeling like this is all or nothing for you. You should never go into a relationship feeling like, man, this person is the world to you and that person doesn't feel the exact same way about you. Stay with me. We're going to go. So we're talking about a couple different things today. It's going to a couple different triggers. You know what I mean? Some of you are going to be triggered by this video. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. Hopefully that trigger will help you grow. Hopefully that trigger will help you come to an understanding that, man, you know what? I got some things I still need to work on in this area. I thought I resolved this. I thought I was done with this, but obviously I'm not. I'm not done with this because, man, I'm still triggered. I'm still bothered by the things that this person is saying in regards to my relationship. This person don't know me personally, but he's speaking on some things that, ooh, it's hitting close to home. You know what I mean? And it's bothering me. That's God's way. That's the universe's way. That's the Most High's way of getting your attention, saying, hey, you got some unresolved issues there. Hey, you got some triggers there that you need to deal with now. Okay? So if you go into a relationship and, man, this is the love of your life, this person means the world to you. You know what I mean? Man, family, they have to feel the same way. They have to feel the same way. Because if they don't feel the same way, what's going to happen in that relationship, and it's going to be a lopsided one-way relationship. And that's the type of relationship the great majority of us are invested in. That's the type of relationship the great majority of us are caught up in. We're in lopsided relationships where we're giving, and they're just receiving. It's like you go into this relationship and you're pouring your all out for this person. And in the beginning, this person is giving to you, this person's attentive to you, and it's all cool because it's exciting and it's new. It's new, but then that newness wears off. And for some of us, that newness wears off like after a week, you know what I mean? After a month, after 2 months, that newness wears off. I've done everything I could with you. I've had you in every way possible. Yeah, I'm not excited no more. I'm not excited no more. You know what I mean? And so what happens is, man, we say the thrill is gone. And the thrill wasn't really there for that person like it was for you. The excitement really wasn't there for that person like it is for you. For you, it was, oh, this is it. This is the one. For them, you was just another booty call. For them, you was just something to pass time. For them, it was cool while it lasted. But yeah, I'm ready to move on. And I'm ready to move on, not because you're a bad person, not because you're not lovable. I'm ready to move on because you're not the one for me. You're not my soulmate. You're not the love of my life. And for some of us, that's a hard pill to swallow because we feel like they're our soulmate. We feel like, man, that's the purpose. That's the reason why we're here. Man, I just want them. If I can't have them, I don't want anybody. But they don't feel the same way. And what happens in those type of relationships, you're going to get hurt. And you're going to get hurt bad. You're going to get emotionally neglected. You're going to get emotionally abused in all other kind of ways. You're going to get hurt. And you're going to get hurt bad. And you're going to walk away mad, bitter, frustrated, angry, resentful, feeling like this person was a narcissist and it was all about them and whoop de whoop de whoop, and they were so selfish and they were so crazy and they were all this other crazy stuff. When in reality, God and the Most High was trying to show you all along they wasn't really into you. You was trying to make them something that they didn't want to be. You were trying to make them something that they weren't capable of being. You were trying to make them your soulmate, and they were never your soulmate. You were trying to make them the one for you, and that was never their purpose. That was never their role. It's like you got a square peg and you're trying to put it in this small round hole, a small round thing. You know what I mean? You can't force this big square peg into something small and round. And that's what the great majority of us do in relationships. We see somebody we're attracted to. We see somebody we want. We see somebody that we're feeling that, and that, man, I'm vibing with them. For whatever reason, we're in the same frequency right now. We're vibing. And for him, it might just be lust. For him, it might just be, man, okay, she's cool. I'm going to hit this in the meantime. While I'm waiting on my queen to show up, while I'm waiting on my soulmate to show up, while I'm waiting on the right person for me, man, I'm going to kick it with you. You're the best thing going right now. I ain't got nothing else to do. Why not kick it with you? And I'll wait for the right one to show up. And the whole time you're falling in love with this person. The whole time you're madly in love with this person. They're your twin flame and everything. You picking out a wedding dress, man, your engagement ring. You're picking out all this stuff. How many kids y'all gonna have? Where y'all gonna live at? You're picking out all this stuff and they ain't feeling none of that. None of that. They ain't said nothing about none of that. They don't want that. But if in your mind, because you've made this out to be something that it's not, because that's how you feel, that's what you want. That's what you want. Y'all ain't never discussed this. And if you do discuss it, he's just like, okay, whatever. Why? He ain't trying to rock the boat. He ain't trying to piss you off right now. He ain't trying to piss you off right now because, man, I'm getting it. I'm getting what I want. Why rock the boat? When I'm ready to leave, I'm a dip. When I'm done, I'm done. And that's what a lot of times happens. And so then women walk away and guys walk away and that went into this relationship thinking that this was the one for me. Thinking that, man, I'm going to settle down with this one and I don't want nobody else. I'm going to live happily ever after. This is Mr. Right. This is Mrs. Right. And whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And that other person ain't feeling that vibe in any way, shape, or form. At all. At all. And they leave you little notes here and there. They leave you little signals here and there. They give you red flags along the way. But because that's the red flags ain't something you trying to see, the red flags ain't something you trying to hear, man, you. And so many women go into relationships thinking that they're going to change this guy. They're going to convince this guy that they're the one. They're going to put that kitty cat on him and work it to the point to where, man, he's going to fall madly in love with me. Ain't nobody ever gave him head like I'm about to give him. Ain't nobody ever cooked for him like I'm about to cook for him. Ain't nobody ever took care of him like I'm about to take care of him. So he's going to be, he's mine. He's going to fall madly in love with me. I'm going to put the business on him. You're going to get your heart broke. You're going to be left standing there like a clown. You are. Because I don't care how great you think your kitty cat is. I don't care how great you think your sex is. It's not enough to keep a man. I'm going to say this again, say it a little slower. I don't care how great you think you look. I don't care how beautiful you are. I don't care how nice and perfect your breasts are. I don't care how round and beautiful your ass is. I don't care how great your oral sex is. I don't care how great your cooking is. Ain't none of that gonna keep a man. Ain't none of that gonna keep somebody that don't want to be kept. Guys, it don't matter how much you packing. It don't matter how much money you got. It don't matter what your title is at work. None of that stuff matters when she ain't the one for you. And none of that stuff matters when she ain't the right one for you. You could be a millionaire, a billionaire, and give her the world. But if you're not the love of her life, you're going to get hurt. If you're not the love of her life, you're going to feel broken and frustrated and pissed off. Why could she be in love with this ghetto dude who ain't got shit, who's hanging out in the corner, who's sagging his pants, who looks like a bum, and you got on $3,000 suits and a Rolex watch and all this other stuff. But she ain't interested in all that material crap you got. It's great, it's nice. But her heart is with that little thug. Her heart is with that little hoodlum. Her heart is with that guy that ain't got nothing. No matter what you do for her. You can't compete with a ghost. I'm going to say this again. You cannot compete with a ghost. And that ghost is the person she's supposed to be with. The ghost is the woman he's supposed to be with. You don't know who that is. All you need to know is it ain't you. Back up. But instead of being humble and backing up and not personalize it, we personalize it and we go all in. We try to do more. We try to be more convincing. Because we don't want to lose what they have to offer. We don't want to lose what they had to offer. And so we get it all twisted. And women, you got to understand this. You got to understand this. I don't care how much a guy pursues you. Just because he pursues you don't mean that you're the one for him. Just because he's all after you and he's going all in and he's buying you and he's doing different things to get you. Understand the mentality of most guys. Most guys, it's a pursuit. And the harder you play, the harder you act like you hard to get, oh, the greater the challenge. Oh, I can't get that? Watch this. And what women don't understand, just like you women, y'all have conversations. Guys have conversations. We sit it up and chop it up. Man, you can't get that. That's out of your league. Watch me pull this. Watch me pull this. But see, our ego have us twisted. Our egos have us thinking, man, he's all after me. He's all in love with me. Look at all the stuff he's buying me. He's sending me flowers. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's doing this. It's a game. It's a game. It's a game when his heart ain't in it. Just because he's doing nice things don't mean his heart's in it. Just because he's buying you stuff don't mean that he loves you. Just because he buys you a rock don't mean he loves you. There's a whole lot of people that are married and are in wealthy families. And man, they're miserable because they're not in love. But he pursued her. Why did he pursue her? For different reasons. But it don't mean that it was about love. It doesn't mean that he was, man, that he wanted you to be the one. We have to start tripping and stop playing games with our ego. Our ego has us jacked up. Our ego's the one that has us trying to make somebody that ain't your soulmate, somebody that ain't the one for you. Our ego have us thinking that, man, we can convince them that they're the one. Our ego have us thinking that, man, that is the one. He don't want nothing to do with you. But your ego has you convinced that he's playing hard to get. Your ego has you convinced that he really wants you. And so we have to understand that, man, when it's right, it's right. Let me say again, when it's right, it's right. It's not right when both of you are not madly in love with each other. When both of you are not on that same level to where you're willing to open up and become completely transparent with each other. See, because if it's right, if he's madly in love, man, it's not a damn thing that he won't give up for you. If he's madly in love with you, man, he'll forsake everything else for you. Everything else, hanging out with the homies, everything for you. But if he's keeping track, if he's keeping connections, if he's keeping relationships with his exes and all this other stuff on Instagram and social media and all this other bullshit, and he's telling you, oh, they just business partners, we're still friends and woo. No, that motherfucker's sitting there, man, he has it out. And no disrespect, it is what it is. He has it out. What I mean, he has that, man, he knows you're not the one for him. But if all else fails, if he can't get back his exes, if he can't get back this person, if he can't hook up with this person, if he can't hook up with this person, you're a good catch. You're a good catch. And that's all you're ever going to be, is a good catch. He don't want you, he's settling for you. He ain't madly in love with you, he's accepting you. And when I say he's accepting you, man, he's just tolerating you. Because he doesn't want to be alone. He's just tolerating you because of what you do. Because the truth be told, if the right one came, he's gone. If the love of his life appeared, he's gone. And the truth is, he don't give a damn how you feel about it. I've seen women who were married to guys that wasn't crap, that's treated them like crap, get on their knees crying and begging and pleading with this fool to stay with her. He's treated her like crap, beat her, cussed her out, cheated her, did all this crap, but she was still in love with him. To her, he was still the love of her life. She was never that for him. And so now, her ego has been shot. Her self-esteem has been shattered. And she's pleading with a fool to stay with her. So that shows you how low we can go. That shows you how much we hate ourselves. That shows you how much we disrespect ourselves. That shows you how low we really think about ourselves. We got this person in a relationship. We know they're not good for us. We know they're abusing us. We know they're cheating on us. We know all this crap. We know they're not the one. And we're still pleading with them to stay with us. We're still pleading with them to give us another chance and we'll make it right. How the hell can you make right wrong? How can you make wrong right? You can't make something wrong right. I don't care what you say. And that's the thing, preachers and politicians and all these other people. Man, if I tell a lie long enough, the people will believe it. If we tell ourselves a lie long enough, we'll believe it. We've been lying to ourselves, convincing ourselves that this is the right one for us. And they're not. That's why they treat us the way they do. If he was the right one for you, he would never call you outside of your name like that. If he was the right one for you, he would never intentionally hurt you. If he was the right one for you, man, he would have you lifted up on a pedestal for the world to see. If he was the right one for you, he would do everything in his power to see you smile. If he was the right one for you, he would do everything in his power to make sure that you had peace of mind and joy. If he was the right one for you, man, he would never disrespect you. If he was the right one for you, he would never be looking and then lusting after other women. He's going to look because we naturally look. Just because you look and you see somebody don't mean you're attracted to them. Don't mean you're lusting after them. So don't confuse what I'm saying. If he was the right one for you, he would never see another woman and be lusting after her. If he was the right one for you, he would never be thinking about, man, what I could do with that to another woman. If he was the right one for you, he would never entertain women coming up to him and whispering in his ear. But because we don't understand this, we try to put a square peg in something that's supposed to be round. We're trying to force the issue for whatever reason. And most of the time it's because we don't want to be alone. Most of the time it's because they do something for us that make us feel good about ourselves. And so we need that validation from them. And if the truth be told, the great majority of us have no real concept of what real love is. The great majority of us have no real concept of what a mutual, loving, healthy relationship is like. All we know is toxicity. All we know is hell. We know sex. We know drinking. We know partying. We know clubbing. And we think, oh, that's good times. That's fun times. Man, he blew my back out. But he don't love you. He blew your back out. He blew your girlfriend's back out the other day. He's going to blow your mom's back out tomorrow. And your boss's back out the next day. He don't care about you. You're something to pass time. You're something just to pass time until the right one comes. But see, here's the problem. Women, guys, as long as you're holding on to the wrong one, you can never, ever receive the right one. Let me say this again. Let me see something. A couple crystals in my hand. As long as my hands are full with these crystals, my hand's full with these crystals, I can't receive any more bigger crystals. I can't receive the right crystals in my hand because my hands are full. It's like a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. You fill it up. You can't put anything else in there until you pour out or drink what's already in there. Mr. Right cannot show up as long as you're still entertaining Mr. Wrong. As long as you're fixated on this knucklehead who ain't the right one for you, who's mistreating you, who's disrespecting you, and everything else. He's told you all that you wanted to hear. He lied to you. He gassed you up. It is what it is. Get over it. Get over it. He lied to you. All the crap he was telling you, man, he was just trying to get in your drawers. He was just trying to get some. But because you were so desperate, because you were so lonely, because you were so out of touch with reality, you bought it hook, line, and sinker. You swallowed all that crap up thinking he was the one. Because you were not in alignment. Because you didn't see the red flags. Because you didn't want to pay attention. And so now that he's moved on, now that he's going to work and he's having an affair at work, and now you're pissed, now you're angry because you gave him all your best years, and he's never gave you an engagement ring. He's never taken you anywhere. He's never hyped you up in front of his peers. He's never taken you to the work party. He's never really taken you around his mom and his family. And so now you're mad. Now you're angry. Well, because he's moved on and he has somebody else. And he's doing all those things with this other person. He's doing all those things with all these other people, with this woman right here. Why? Why is he doing this for her, but he wouldn't do it for me? I gave him 5 good years. I was his slave for 5 years. Did everything, waited on him, cleaned up behind him, cooked for him, pampered him, spoiled him. I did all this crap. And he never did that for me. He was never proud of me like that. He never worshiped me like that. Why? Because you weren't the one for him. It is what it is. It's not personal. It's not saying that you're not lovable. It's not saying that you're not a great person. It's not saying that Mr. Right can't come and do all the right things for you. It's just that you're entertaining Mr. Wrong. And as long as you're entertaining Mr. Wrong, Mr. Right can never show up. Mr. Right never will show up as long as you're chasing and pursuing and trying to hold on to Mr. Wrong. And so, let's talk about cheating. Because we have this misconception of what a cheater is. We think a cheater is somebody that goes out and has sex with all these other people while they're engaged in a relationship. That is a cheater. That is a cheater. But let me tell you something, especially you women. Let me tell you guys something. You're a cheater if you look at another man and you think, damn, he's back. You look at another man and you think, damn, I wonder what he's working with. You're a cheater. You are a cheater. I don't care what you say. You could cheat on somebody and never touch another person. You could cheat on your man, on your woman, and never touch another person. Every time most guys get caught up in porn, their wives feel like they feel betrayed. Why? They feel like their husband, their man, has been looking at all these other women, fantasizing about all these other women, lusting after all of these other women, jacking off to all these other women. And these women feel betrayed. They feel like they've been cheated on. And they can't compete to a porn star. Years ago, I can't believe I'm sharing this. You know, share this story. Years ago, my younger kid's mom got married, and I was out there in Mississippi, right, where we got married at, and I don't know why. You know, I was putting stuff in the car and was getting ready to drive out to California, right? And she had some paperwork she wanted me to throw in the glove compartment. So I opened up the glove compartment and out popped some pictures. Out popped some pictures of some guy that was like a stripper. So this dude was a stripper and all his meat just hanging out, right? And this lady I just married, we just got married, and she got all these pictures in her glove compartment and they fall out, right? And I'm looking at them, I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? I don't know if they're eggs, I don't know who they are, right? But I'm just looking at the pictures and I'm like, what the hell? And so all kind of thoughts was going through my head, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna wig out, you know what I mean? And so I get at her a little later on. I didn't throw them out, you know, because that's not me. You know what I mean? I didn't throw them out. But I hit her up about them. I was like, hey, I saw some pictures. You asked me to put all the stuff in the glove compartment. These pictures popped out. And she was like, what pictures, you know? And so I explained to her the pictures. And she's like, oh, she's all embarrassed, laughing and joking, right? And so she told me that this guy, they went to her and her friends, Tabitha went to the strip club and whoop and blah, 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 right? I was like, okay, well, I don't think that's appropriate for you to have anymore. Yeah, I can understand you having them when you're single, but you ain't single no more. Just like I'm not gonna keep pictures of all these women, of all my exes, all the girls that I used to mess with. Once I'm done, man, there's no sense in me, and I'm in another relationship, there's no sense in me having these pictures in my phone. There's no sense of me having all these perverted text messages and all these perverted audio messages and voicemails and all this other stuff. Man, it's gone. It's done. You know what I mean? Because that's disrespectful to the person I'm in a relationship with now. And so she's like, oh, yeah. But my heart told me she wasn't going to get rid of them. Stay with me. My heart told me, yeah, she wasn't going to let them go. And think nothing else about it. We get out to California. And for whatever reason, my car is messed up and I jump in her car and I'm flying to work, running late, right? On the freeway, on the 405, get pulled over by a cop. Crap. And so he comes up and he's asking for license and registration, insurance and all this other stuff. Big dude, right? And I pull open and I got tank top on, I'm muscular, you know what I mean? Got my tats and stuff and he's looking at me and he has his hand on his gun, you know what I mean? And so I open up the glove compartment, bow! I'll pop all these pictures of this dude. I've never been so humiliated in my life. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. This cop is standing there looking at me, looking at these pictures, looking at me, looking at these pictures, and he starts smiling. This smirk comes on his face. And I'm telling him, man, this ain't my car, these ain't my pictures. This is my wife's car. We just got married. I'm trying to explain it to him. But I'm mad now. I'm embarrassed now. So I go home. After class, I can't think about anything else. I'm in class, I can't think about class. I'm thinking about why does this girl, this is like a year later, why does this girl still have these pictures in her glove compartment? Why is she still holding on to these memories? And I bring that up because, family, if you're holding on to memories of your past, you're holding on to all these beautiful memories of your exes and all the things you guys did and all the places you guys did and the great sex you guys had and the kinky stuff that you guys did and whoop and all that other crap. And that's what you're dwelling. That's what you think about. You're a cheater. You're a cheater. I know you don't want to say that. I know you don't want to acknowledge that. But you're not giving that energy to the person that you're with now. You're depriving the person you're with now of all of you, and you're giving it to somebody else who's no longer even in the picture, who don't even know that you're thinking about them. It's as though you're watching porn. It's as though you're sitting there looking at this guy in his suit and you're thinking, damn, he's fucking fine as hell. Damn, what I would do with that. Damn, how come my man couldn't dress like that? How come my man couldn't look like that? Girl, do you see his feet? You know what they say about big feet. He must have a size 12 or 13. Damn! You're out of pocket for that. You're wrong for that. You're a cheater. You're a cheater. And if you're a cheater, that's a clue that the guy that you with, he ain't the right one for you. He ain't the one for you. Guys, if you're doing this to your girl, you're still thinking about your exes, and you still got pictures of all your exes. You still got all this lust going on. You're still looking at porn. You're still looking at all these models or whoever they are, Beyonce, Rihanna, whatever their names is. You looking at them and you thinking about, damn, what I could do with them. Damn, just give me 5 minutes. You thinking all this shit. The person you with ain't the one for you. They're not the one for you. They might be convenient, but they're not the one for you. Because if they're the one for you, you wouldn't do anything to jeopardize that relationship. If they were the one for you, the birds like say it. If they were the one for you, you wouldn't do anything to harm that person. If they were the one for you, you wouldn't do anything to jeopardize what you guys are building. You wouldn't do anything to break that trust. Because once you break that trust, man, it's hard to get that back. It's hard to get that back. Once you violated that trust, they're always going to second guess you. They're always going to question you. And the truth is, it may never get back to where it was. And the odds are it's never going to get back the way it should have been or could have been. Stop trying to force something that was never meant to be. And that's what we do. We're forcing something that's not meant to be. And we're deceiving ourselves into thinking that we're going to build them up. And man, we're going to teach them how to love us. We're going to teach them how to respect us. We're going to teach them how to cherish us. We're going to teach them how to value us. We're going to teach them how important we are to them. When the truth is, when you're the right one, you don't have to teach them that. They already know that. When you're the right one, they're telling you all of that. They're telling you how important you are. They're telling you how valuable you are. They're not just telling you, they're showing you. If you have to teach a man how to love you, he ain't the one for you. If you have to teach a woman how to respect you and how to cherish you and how to talk to you with some dignity, she ain't the one for you. They ain't the one. Let them go. I don't care how great the sex is. I don't care how great the sex is. They ain't the one. Family. These birds going in. Man, we have to grow up. We have to grow up. And we have to understand that our ego has us so messed up in so many realms, on so many topics, on so many topics. You have to fall in love with you. You have to fall in love with you. When you fall in love with you, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm kind of nervous about saying this, but I'm gonna speak this. I got to the point where I stopped looking for women. And what I mean by that, I'm not gay, never been gay. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm trying to say. Stay with me. I got to the point where it's like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not looking for nothing else. Man, if If I'm going to be a monk, I'm going to be a monk. You know what I mean? If that's the life that I got to live, if that's the role you want for me, God, then so be it. Then so be it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to look for Mrs. Right anymore. And the trip is, Mrs. Right, I had almost given up on her. I had this image in my head as a kid of who Mrs. Right was. I knew who she was. And I'm going to make a video about this in a couple weeks. How do you know the right one? But I had this image. I knew who she was. I had this standard and this expectation of who she was, who Mrs. Right was. But because I didn't see her around me, I didn't see her in any of the women that was around me, I started lowering my standards. I started lowering my expectations. I started settling. And the truth is, that's what the great majority of us do. We start settling. We know this ain't the one for us. But my biological clock is ticking. I know this ain't the one for me, but I'm tired of being alone. I know this ain't the one for me, but he looked good. I know he ain't the one for me, but look at those muscles. I know he ain't the one for me, but he has a good job. I know she ain't the one for me, but she'll make me look good. And all we're doing is setting ourselves up for more hurt, more pain, more suffering, because we refuse to wait on divine timing. We refuse to wait for God to reveal the right one for us. And so often what happens is we go through all these toxic relationships. And some of us get stuck in these toxic relationships. And we stay there. And what we're supposed to be realizing and learning in these toxic relationships is, man, these ain't the one. This ain't the one. I keep settling. Why do I keep settling? Why do I keep expecting less than? Why do I keep accepting less than? So all these toxic relationships is supposed to help me realize, man, what I want, and to remember who I am. Because I believe the truth is that every single one of us, we come here and innately know who our soulmate is. We forget, and over time, we got to go through different courses and different things in life to remember. But most of us don't have that patience. Most of us don't want to put in that work. And so we just settle. We just settle. And then we're miserable. We're frustrated. We're angry at the other person for being the way they are, when you should have never settled for them in the first place. Don't get mad at them for being the way they are. Don't get mad at them for being a dog. You chose that dog. You settled for that dog. Don't get mad at him for disrespecting you. You settled for that. You chose that. You should have never been with him. You got with him because you need to learn your lessons. And the lessons was, man, I don't know what I was thinking. I should have never chose this person. I should have never hooked up with this person. I should have never settled. I should have waited for my queen to come. I should have waited for my king to arrive. But instead, I picked the first pawn that came along. The first person that whispered something sweet into my ear. The first woman that showed me some nice titties. The first woman that blew my mind sexually. Stop settling. But in order to stop settling, you have to know who you are. And the only way to know who you are is to go into meditation and get connected with God. There are no shortcuts to this. If you want the queen of your life, if you want the king, your soulmate, and all this other stuff, if that's what you want, you can only get that by knowing who you are. And you can only get that by meditating. And you can only do that by going internally and being aligned with God. See, we want our king and our queen, but we don't know who we are. We want our king and our queen, but we ain't in alignment with God. You can't have the both of them. You can't have it that way. You know what I mean? You can only, there's a purpose, there's a plan, divine timing. And so the ultimate mission in life is to discover who you are. But because we don't want to grow up and understand that, and so, okay, I'm going to allow you to go through all these circumstances. I'm going to allow you to go through all this hell. I'm going to allow you to go through all these abusive relationships. I'm going to allow you to get your heart broke over and over and over and over and over. Why? Because you refuse to grow up. You refuse to meditate. You refuse to come in and meditate and get in alignment and learn who you are and resolve whatever issues you got. So I'm going to allow you to keep going through all that drama. I'm going to allow you to keep going through all that hell until you get to the point where it's like, man, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I give up. What am I supposed to learn? And what you're supposed to learn is what you always was supposed to have learned. But if you're like me, man, I'm hard-headed. You know what I mean? I'm not hard-headed like that no more. But I was extremely hard-headed, extremely stubborn. Couldn't tell me nothing. I was always going to do it my way. And so I had to learn the hard way. Stop trying to force things that was never meant to be. Get in alignment with God. Humble yourself and stop acting like you know it all. Humble yourself and stop acting like you got this all figured out. Humble yourself and stop convincing yourself that you could keep a man that don't want to be kept. That you can convince him that you're the best thing going. That you can convince him that you're the right one for him. Because the truth is, if you were the right one, you wouldn't have to convince him of that. You wouldn't have to convince him of that. He wouldn't know that. He's still looking for the right one. And sometimes we get our heart broke. A lot of times we get our heart broke. And we get frustrated. Man, why did this relationship end? Why did this person do me like this? Why did this person ghost me? Why did this person cheat on me? Why did this person go hook up with this other person? And we get all frustrated and wigged out over all that stuff. And God is trying to tell us, look, you keep settling for these people and they ain't the one for you. I keep allowing and manipulating and moving and orchestrating all of these people out of your life because I'm trying to bring the right one to you, but you won't listen. I'm trying to bring you Mr. Right. I'm trying to bring you your queen. I'm trying to bring you your king, but you're being fucking hard-headed. You won't listen. You've been stubborn. I'm trying to take these riffraffs out your life, but you keep hanging on to them. I get them out your life and you allow their ass to come back. I get them out your life and you go chasing right behind them. And I'm trying to bring you Mr. Right. But you don't want Mr. Right. You want Mr. Wrong. You don't want Mr. Right. You want this bum who's going to beat the hell out of you. You want this bum who's going to disrespect you and abuse you. You want this thug who's going to slap the shit out of you. But I'm trying to bring you a king who's going to worship you, who's going to put you up on this pedestal, who's going to love you and value you. But you've been so hard and twisted by life. You see this king as being soft. You see this king as being a punk. You want a thug. You want somebody hard. My hope and prayer is that we get it right. That we get it right. You could have the queen of your life. You could have the person that was meant to be in your life. You could have your soulmate. the love of your life. And you're going to be the love of their life. You can have all of that. All of that. But you have to be in alignment. You have to be in alignment with God. My hope and prayer is that you humble yourself. You humble yourself. You spend some time in meditation. You spend some time talking to God. You spend some time understanding what God is trying to show you about all these toxic relationships that you've been in. That you spend some time asking God to teach you the lessons that you were supposed to learn from all of these relationships. Because every relationship that you've gone through was to teach you some valuable lessons. If you haven't learned the lessons, God can't bring you your blessing. I'm going to say again, if you haven't learned the lesson, you can't receive your blessing. And your blessing is the love of your life. Your blessing is the king that you've always wanted. It's the queen that you've always wanted. That's the ultimate blessing in life. That's the ultimate blessing in life. You can have all the money in the world and be lonely. You can have all the money in the world and not have anybody love you, and not have anybody value you, not have anybody cherish you. You can have all the fame and still be suicidal. Looking at these red cardinals, I'm sorry. My hope and prayer is that you learn who you are, and that you allow God to show to you who your real queen is, who your real king is. And that you stop trying to make people something that they're not. That you stop trying to be what you were never meant to be. You were never meant to be this person's queen. You're not this person's Mrs. Right. And that's why you're so frustrated. That's why you're so broken. That's why you're so lonely. That's why you're so emotionally detached from him, or that's why he's so emotionally detached from you. You weren't meant to be his queen. You're not the love of his life. And that's a hard pill to swallow. I get it. I understand that. My hope and prayer, you will saw, and you let it go. You let it out. You let out all that negative energy, all that negative, crazy thought process of holding on to something that was never meant to be held on to. Whether that's the past, your past experiences, regardless of whatever it was, let it go. Let it go. It served its purpose. Let it stay where it's at. It's in the past for a reason. It's not your present. It's in the past for a reason. Let it stay there. That's where it belongs. Let it go. Let them go. Humble yourself. Get in alignment with God. Pursue love with yourself. Pursue a closer relationship with God. And watch him bring you your queen. Watch him bring you your king. Watch him bring you the love of your life and the life of your love. I had given up. Done. I'm getting ready to be a monk. And my queen appeared. I seen her, but I didn't recognize her as that. We started talking, and I was able to see her for who she was. She knew that I was the one for her. She didn't pursue me. She didn't do any of that stuff. She just prayed. She just prayed. I'm not big on religion in any way, shape, or form. I am big on having a relationship with God. I am big on being in alignment with God. I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.